What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to Philly with John Marks on PHLY. As always, brought to you by BetParx. Good morning to our 8 a.m.ers, our mad chatters out there today on a Good Friday. It's a Good Friday. All Fridays are good, but in particular, this really is Good Friday. And joining us on the program today, he was tweeting at 3 o'clock in the morning. He's back up a couple hours later as the Flyers season is finally over, and we will do a little wrap-up recap of that coming up on the program today. But our buddy Bill Matz joins us. What's up, Bill?
Johnny Marks, good morning, my friend. How are you today?
Are you a Catholic? Are you a raised Catholic man, Bill Matz?
I was not, John, no.
Congratulations, because Tyler and I were. I didn't go to Catholic school. I went to CCD because my mom said, I don't care. You have to go to CCD and get your confirmation. Then you can quit. And I said, okay. Like, I'm not really a religious person, Mom. I don't care. Just get your confirmation because I had to do it, right? So that was my life. Tyler went to Catholic school. But it's Easter on Sunday, which means it's Good Friday today, which means on Sunday, Easter ham, which is one of my favorite things ever. You like Easter ham, Bill Matz?
Oh, who doesn't love the Easter ham? You get the pineapple stuffing going. It's a great time.
Do you go mustard on ham, Easter ham, or no?
That's
no. A no.
But that sounds kind of good, honestly.
Really?
I'm interested.
No, like and we're not going to be. I'm actually this year we're going to a Uncle Jamie is a member of like a golf club, so we're going there for a brunch. The last thing I want is anybody over my house, so I'm more than happy to go somewhere and to eat. It's like the best thing ever. I'm like, can we do this for Thanksgiving as well? So we don't have to. But like for years, I would make my own mustard. I would have a combination of regular mustard, a little bit of Dijon, and then the really spicy horseradish mustard. And you kind of like flip it up, rub it up, spin it around, boom, goes on top of the ham. I love it. It's delicious.
I'm into it. I've just never tried it, but right. I like mustard on most things.
There you go. All right. Tyler Zula, you an Easter ham guy?
You know, I am in terms of eating it. I have no interest in making it. We hosted Easter, my wife and I, in our one-bedroom apartment last year. And we got done, and she said, never again. Never again. Because it was only originally supposed to be us and our parents. So it was going to be like 6 of us. And then it just kind of grew and grew, and then aunts and uncles came along, grandparents came along. Yeah, so it ended up being like 10 or 12 of us in a one-bedroom apartment. And we hadn't told anybody that my wife was pregnant at the time yet, so we were like trying to not only do Easter dinner, but also like still kind of hide a pregnancy from the rest of the family. So it was a really difficult Easter for us.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
So she goes, never again.
In a one-bedroom apartment, I would have told people no.
Yeah,
like,
it was.
No, you're not coming over.
It was interesting.
You can host it, and we'll come over.
Hey, are you hosting Easter? Nope, not me.
Are you and Ava hosting Easter?
What's Easter?
You're a homeowner, Bill.
No, Easter is Easter's the Fanatic's birthday, John. So we'll be going. We'll be at Citizens Bank Park for that, and then of course the main event, night 2 of WrestleMania on Sunday. So
is WrestleMania this weekend?
Cool. It is.
Oh, my God. So you're not even going to Easter dinner? You're going to the Phillies game, and then you're watching wrestling?
Yes. Yeah, that's how it's going to go in the Matt's household.
Oh, you're the best, man. I love you.
We have brunch at my parents' on Saturdays. I think that counts.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, listen, it's all good. All right, so Tyler said this to me this morning, and I think I said it after Game 2, when the Phillies won Game 2 of the series with the Giants. You're never going to say a game in April is a must-win or a can't lose sometimes. But you're not going to say that because there's 162 games. But as far as being as early in the season as it was, like winning that second game of the series really was important, right? So it's like, all right, fine. Like, you stop the bleeding. Everybody's bitching and complaining about the offense. You had a bad road trip. I was right there. I was frustrated. You win that. And then yesterday with Chris Sanchez, he looked great. But that was like, I needed that one yesterday as a Phillies fan. I needed to feel good about the team. And I needed to be reminded why this Phillies team will win 90 games. The pitching, the starting pitching. Chris Sanchez, he looked like Cole Hamels with that changeup yesterday. Unbelievable. 12 strikeouts. Gave them what they needed. The offense gave them what they needed. Phillies split the series, man. So, like, I was very happy after yesterday's game. And Chris Sanchez looks like an absolute stud.
No, yeah, that's it was got to come in and watch the game right there in the PHLY studio, getting ready for the Flyers game. Real nice back-to-back we had there between the two. And it was a great reminder, like you said, like, okay, it is, it's mid-April. Maybe we can not freak out a little bit about games well before Memorial Day and just take a step back. And it is a good baseball team. They are a flawed baseball team, but every team in the league is. That is not a special thing about the Phillies. They do have the talent to win a whole lot of games, and it starts with that starting pitching.
All right, Chris Sanchez, 11 of his 12 strikeouts were via the changeup. And if you remember with Cole Hamels, he wasn't like, his velocity was never what made him special. And he didn't have like 4 great pitches. He actually had to develop that third pitch because guys started to sit on the changeup a little bit. But he needed to have enough velocity. And a younger Cole Hamels, he was getting it up at 94 and 95. Sanchez has more velocity than that, but it helps set up the changeup. And you saw it yesterday. He had 22 swings and misses on his changeup. And I'm reading here from one of the writers. It's the most by any pitcher in the pitch tracking era. So that's since 2008. Cristopher Sanchez got more swings and misses yesterday than any other pitcher in a game since 2008. 22 of them. He threw 50 of his 97 pitches were changeups, which is a lot, man. So if they know it's coming and they still can't hit it, how you doing? Let's go. He was unbelievable yesterday.
Well over half on a changeup, and they're just swinging right over top of it. That is damn impressive. It's so exciting that the Phillies got one of these right. I feel like it's always the guy who leaves Philadelphia and we're going, how did that get away? And he's one that seems like they just found. It was so under the radar, and then suddenly, oh yeah, he's our second best pitcher.
Yep. Yeah, and you got Luzardo that's kind of vying for that as well. It's like, all right, like, listen, Nola can be your fourth best starter in this rotation, and it's fine. Let's go. And by the way, the portion of this program brought to you by GLAT Hair Restoration, GLATHairMM.com, 610-980-4000. I had the Freshie yesterday up at Razor Bar in Wayne. They have PHLY on right now because they said when I shouted them out yesterday, they're like, we heard you say it. So shout out to Razor Bar in Wayne. All right, so Tyler Zulli, PHLY Philly Show, and of course the producer of Philly with John Marks. See, Bill, what you don't know is I think Tyler and I, it almost feels like the Chris Sanchez is like not our son, but like a nephew. Because all spring training we were talking about, you can't say it's a breakout year because he was a friggin' all-star last year. But is this the year he becomes their best starter or their second best starter and he has like this real breakout year? So far, so good, Tyler. And like yesterday, they knew the changeup was coming and they couldn't hit it. I mean, it had such great action on it. But Chris Sanchez doing what we wanted him to do.
Yeah,
what we thought he was going to do.
Like you said, the arm action's so important to that changeup. And when his velocity now is at 96, 97, 98, and the changeup still sits 86, 87, 88, that 9, 10, 11 miles an hour difference when the arm action's so good makes it so difficult to pick up. And I think yesterday, specifically, Sanchez used something to his advantage that he should have. He used the shadows to his advantage. And he said, I'm just going to bury changeups down and away, and you're not going to pick them up. You're going to see arm action way over the top because he's 6'5" or whatever he is. And the arm action's going to pull the changeup down, and then he's going to use those shadows, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, this pitch is on top of me. Yeah. And when I watched you deliver it, it looked like a strike, and now it's not. And I think he did a really good job of using that to his advantage. But you're right. I mean, his maturation over the last year and a half has been nothing short of amazing.
So Bill, you know what happens? Then teams make adjustments on you. So he's not going to be able to be that reliant on changeups. And this is where it's important, where JT thinks about that when he calls games, right? Like, all right, because he's got the other stuff. The home run he gave up yesterday was on like a hanging, I don't know if it was a changeup or it was a cutter or a slider that stayed up. So especially against right-handed hitters, that's how, if you're a lefty, you neutralize the right-handed hitter, is through that changeup or through have guys guessing like, all right, he can throw a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. So it's hard to sit on a changeup when you're going to have a 98, give him the heater, Ricky. Like that's coming down the pike. But he is, it's such a bonus because this isn't like you had said, he came out of nowhere. It's like, all right, who's this guy Sanchez? He's a AAA. Like, he looks all right. Boom! Just like that, he comes in and he's like a quasi-ace. It's unbelievable.
No, it's been really fun watching him mature over the last year and a half. And yeah, John, but are you telling me you don't think he's going to be able to average 12 strikeouts a game? I want to make sure we get you on the record there. Maybe teams may make adjustments. They doesn't get 22 swings and misses on his changeup.
Can he average 8 a game? Yep, he sure can. I would have bet the over on that prop yesterday with him with strikeouts for sure. He's been great. Yeah, so it was a hanging slider. Yeah, like you're going to give up home runs when you're at Citizens Bank Park. Wait till it gets warm out and it's hitting season. Yeah, you're a left-handed starter. As long as you're not putting guys on, you're going to give up some solo home runs, which is totally fine. His ERA is now down under 3. He gave up just one walk and 12 strikeouts, 4 hits. He was fantastic yesterday, which sets up, Bill Matz, a weekend series. Is that me?
No, that's me. I'm trying to find 4 or 5 different stats for you, and all of a sudden this page decided it wanted to start telling you to play you music.
Well, that's what happens.
Sorry about that.
That's what happens. I thought it was coming from my computer.
No, live air does that to you. Apparently.
So you have the Marlins coming into town this weekend, and you would think the Marlins, they suck. But the Marlins still have some good starting pitching, including Sandy Alcantara, who starts tonight against Zack Wheeler. So you're getting their best start. I don't even know, how has Alcantara been this year? I haven't even really seen. He's 4.7 ERA, so he's 2-0. So we know what he looks like. And then you have Cal Quantrill against Taijuan Walker. Bill Matz, can Taijuan Walker continue? Because he had a really, really bleepity-bleep first inning. But he settled down and he gave you some innings after that. So he hasn't been brutal. What are you expecting from Taijuan Walker in start number 2?
Very little.
Or number
John.
4, I guess.
It's very little, John. It's Taijuan Walker. Anything that you've already gotten out of him is a bonus. Can he keep his head above water long enough that we get maybe Ranger back into the rotation or however they choose to handle it? But no, I look at every Taijuan start as a scheduled loss, and if it's close, I'm happy. Oh, good. This wasn't they didn't throw this game away. Great.
I bet the over his last start because I said, he hasn't given up a run yet. He's going to give up a run today, and he got smashed in the first inning. But so all right. So you brought up Ranger Suarez. So here's the next thing on the Phillies. So Ranger Suarez, not yesterday, but the day before, he pitched down in Clearwater. Went 4 1/3, 7 strikeouts, 1 earned run. Looked good. So I believe he's back in Philly. He's going to throw a bullpen session up here, and then they'll see where they are from there. Taijuan Walker's going to start tomorrow, and he's likely to get one more start in major. So let's play hypotheticals here, Bill. And it's not a scheduled loss, but Taijuan Walker goes out and he gives you 5 innings and 2 runs, 5 innings and 3 runs, 6 innings and 3 runs in his next 2 starts or something like that. What are you doing? Because Taijuan Walker in the bullpen gives you zippity zip zilch 0. You're not bringing him out there in anything other than, hey, it's 7-0 in the 3rd inning, and we're going to bring in Taijuan Walker because Aaron Nola got shelled, and we need some meatball to just mop up some innings, right? But Ranger Suarez has real value if you use him as a bullpen piece. And he probably doesn't want that. He's going to be a free agent. He's had success as a starting pitcher. I worry about his body breaking down, especially after having back issues and starting the season on the IL, and he had the same issues last year. And couldn't they use another bullpen? Ranger Suarez has stones. I don't worry about him in any particular situation, him coming in either at the starting inning or with runners on base. And Taijuan Walker's going to give you a 0 out of the bullpen. So hypotheticals here. Taijuan still looks okay. And what do you think the Phillies do? What would you do?
C, Andrew Painter. No, it's Walker can only kill you once a week in the rotation, and Ranger would help the bullpen. That's the thing. Everything you get out of Walker is you're just crossing your fingers until the next time, because we know he's not very good, but the way things are shaping up, your other 4 pretty damn good. And if you can get Ranger in the bullpen and he can help you a couple times a week, you can deal with Taijuan, I guess. I guess you can just get through a Taijuan Walker start, cross your fingers, close your eyes, and hope it goes well.
Yeah, and Tyler was saying this before the show. You may need to piggyback him, but you can't have Walker start. Like, you would have to have Walker start. You can't bring him in the 4th inning. Teams will be like, sometimes it takes them a little while to get going, then you got to get them out. I mean, I guess it's a good problem to have. You mentioned Andrew Painter. It's actually a great point. When Painter comes up, is he not starting? Are you going to have a 6-man rotation? Zack Wheeler doesn't like that, right? So what are you doing in that particular situation?
I think in that scenario, I think what the Phillies would end up doing is Wheeler starts every 5th day, and then everybody else goes an extra day. So it goes like Wheeler through the rotation, Wheeler, or Wheeler through the 4 guys, Wheeler the 6th guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's just going to bump everybody back. Wheeler stays on normal rest, and the rest of the guys would get more rest. Because, listen, I've always said, like, if your 4th comes to you and says, hey, man, I don't like pitching on extra rest, you go, well, tough. If your ace, who you're paying $45 million a year, comes to you and says, I don't want to pitch on extra rest, you go, yeah, we'll figure something out.
Yeah, it's important to him what makes him best. So I'm fine with that. And you know what happens, Bill? A lot of times these situations work themselves out. Taijuan Walker comes out on Saturday and gives up a 7-burger in the first 2 runs. He's going to get bounced to the bullpen or DFA'd. So we'll see. All right, so listen, coming up. So Block C of the program. So this was Block A. Block B is next. Block C of the program is going to be all Flyers all the time as we wrap up the season. Then I didn't know WrestleMania was this weekend, so Bill's going to have to give his WrestleMania picks as well. Can we do that on the BetParx Parlay?
Are you legally allowed to do that? Is that a thing you can do?
I don't believe BetParx offers odds on WrestleMania.
There would be one of those things where you would find out like 20 years later that a writer for WWE was making like $1 million because he knew all the outcomes.
Yeah, I think I maybe one of the online ones will do it more for publicity than anything else to try to get it out there. But there's limits on those bets. Like with the national anthem, like which song is first or whatever, information started getting out there and they flag those bets real fast. So they don't let you you can bet $50 on those or whatever. But yeah. But listen, Bill, just in case BetParx does take that, you're gonna have to give your picks, all right? And
Absolutely, John. I am ready, willing, and able to.
Tell us about the main event. All right, Johnny Puck's coming up, 3rd segment in Block C. Block B, which is next. What the hell is A.J. Brown doing? Why is he doing this to us? He is an interesting fella. Also, a couple of other things I want to discuss. That's next. It's Philly with John Marks, PHLY. All right, why? So we'll do Rothman right now. Get ready for your bit here coming up. But listen, Rothman Orthopedics, and this time of year, there's gonna be a lot of people, especially old folks like me, that are like, yeah, let me get the golf clubs out, or I'm going to go for a jog, or I'm going to go do this and go do that outside. And then the following day, you're like, wow, man, like I'm really, really sore. And then day 2, day 3, it doesn't get better. And you're like, you know what? I just can't do this anymore, right? If your body's telling you I can't swing a golf club or I'm in, bad pain for a week, then what are you likely to do? Not play golf anymore. Here's what you should do. Rothman Orthopedics. If your joints are aching, if your back's out of whack, Rothman's got you. Rothman Orthopedics, really the experts in the industry. Their mission is high-quality, compassionate, and affordable care rooted in research that leads to new treatments and better outcomes. So each Rothman doc is laser focused on their specialty. Hip, knee, spine, you name it. They have a team, not just a doctor, a team for each body part and right in your backyard. So over 30 plus Rothman locations. All right, we're talking about walk-in centers, urgent care offices, regular offices, 30 plus in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. So like I saw the shoulder team when I had what I thought was a rotator cuff issue. It wasn't a rotator cuff issue, but it had a lot of the same symptoms. It felt like bursitis, rotator cuff. It was a frozen shoulder that gave me an issue for over a year, and I did nothing about it. Finally, I went to Rothman. In 6 weeks, it was taken care of. 6 weeks of physical therapy. No MRI, no cortisone shot. There's a script for physical therapy. I did it right at Rothman in Limerick, the physical therapy. And my shoulder has been great ever since. RothmanOrtho.com. They specialize in orthopedics and you. Visit RothmanOrtho.com/PHLY to learn more and to make an appointment today. Tyler, what do you got?
Yeah, Johnny, did you see the fireball in the sky this morning?
I did not.
I don't know what it is, but apparently they call it the sun, and apparently you need sunglasses. We haven't had the sun in forever, it seems. Yesterday was a much nicer day, but today and the weekend look like it's going to be really nice, and I can't recommend enough. If you're looking for a pair of sunglasses, head on over to Shady Rays because 300,000 people have rated Shady Rays 5 stars, myself included, because they are the only shades that I recommend, and they're the only ones that I trust to protect my eyeballs as best as I can. Especially with the summer months coming up. Listen, they have durable frames, crystal clear optics, and any style and color scheme that you're looking for, Shady Rays has for you. So you're not going to go without finding the pair that works best for you. I go with the more sporty, stylized look, but you could get a pair of aviators. You can get your traditional sunglasses. I understand that the ski and snow season's coming to an end, but maybe you want to get ahead of next fall and winter. You can get snow goggles and ski goggles as well, and they are the best eye protection when you are out on the slope. So head on over to ShadyRays.com and use the promo code PHLY to save 35% off your pair of polarized sunglasses when you use that code, and find out why over 300,000 people have rated Shady Rays 5 stars when they use the code PHLY at ShadyRays.com.
Thank you, Tyler Zuli, as we are back here, Philly with John Marks, Bill Matz on the program today. And just a reminder, if you haven't subscribed to All PHLY or PHLY Daily, get it at allphly.com. It's everything you need to know. It is the sports page for Philadelphia with us behind it, right? So everything that we do, everything that happens in Philly sports. And right now there's a diehard sale that's going on. And Rich Hoffman Jr. does a great job with PHLY Daily. And that is delivered to your inbox every day for free. Just subscribe at allphly.com. It's like they send the daily news to you back when people bought the paper and they bought daily news. Anyway, but right now, $36. It's a limited time offer. $36 for your first year. You can become a diehard. You get written content like up right now on allphly.com. Jim Salisbury and his Phillies coverage talking about Chris Sanchez's changeup. And how about Charlie O'Connor on everything Flyers and John Tortorella's legacy? And how about a t-shirt, the Michkov Mania t-shirt that Bill Matz loves, I believe. You get one of them just for becoming a diehard. 20% off all merch, access to our Discord lounge, and more. The best Philadelphia sports coverage by far. And become a diehard, $36. Just go to allphly.com to get it. It's the best price you're going to get all year, Bill Matz. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely. And Charlie O'Connor has described his John Tortorella piece as quite lengthy because he was, as Danny Briere said, a complicated man and a complicated coach. And if Charlie's telling you one of his pieces is especially long, it's basically War and Peace.
It's
you
especially
get your money's,
long.
You get, yeah, like you get your $36 worth right there.
Oh man! And if you're a Flyers diehard, you probably wish it was even longer. John Tortorella.
Oh, of course.
So Flyers talk Block C. All right, coming up in just a second, so don't go anywhere. And I want that Michkov Mania t-shirt. Anyway, all right. So a couple things here, Bill Metz. The draft is now like this time next week and 1 week from now. We may not have an Eagles pick, because they may have traded out of the first round, which would not surprise me, and I'd be totally fine with that. So we may be waiting all night for the final pick in the first round, and then when they're on the clock, you get a trade. It's happened before. I remember working, this was back when I worked. It was even before it was the Fanatic, when it was 9:50 a.m., I believe, 9:50 ESPN. And we were at Nick's Roast Beef in Northeast Philadelphia on not even the one off of Woodhaven, the other one. And they ended up trading out of the first round. It was what was the running back from Dallas? Felix Jones?
Felix Jones.
From Arkansas. So the Eagles actually traded with Dallas, and they took Felix Jones, I think, in the first round, and the Eagles traded out of the first round. So we were like literally waiting, and we're doing this live broadcast. And then you know Jack McCaffrey? He's a longtime columnist for the Delco Times.
Yeah.
Love Blackjack. He's such a Delco Philadelphia sports writer, fan, whatever. And his brother's Franny McCaffrey, new coach of the Penn Quakers, longtime Iowa head coach. But Jack went nuts. Like on the air, blew a gasket. This isn't one of these fake blow a gaskets that people do now because everybody shows on YouTube. He went nuts. Quentin Michael was like we got him to do the draft show with us. And he didn't know what to say because he was on the team. So he's just kind of sitting there like looking all over like, save me from this guy right now. He's on the air when the Eagles made the trade. So what I'm saying is that the draft is a week away. We may not have picks till Friday, though, Bill Matz.
No, that was that the Kevin Cobb draft, if I remember correctly?
That was the Kevin Cobb draft. Yes, good memory.
Yeah, they end up taking him in the second round. I just remember watching that draft, and all the analysts are like, "Oh, I'm sorry, did the Eagles win the Super Bowl last year that they couldn't afford to get any better?" And then they take a quarterback. Like, oh, you don't have one of those, do you? But
yeah, Donovan was very happy. Donovan appreciated them taking a quarterback in the second round.
Funny how that works. They don't seem to the first round, incumbent starters don't seem to love when you take a quarterback to eventually replace them.
Well, the second time it happened, it worked out better than the first time, that's for sure.
It seems to have worked out for us this time, at least, certainly. But yeah, we're in a little bit different of a situation. And last time we were in this situation, that is exactly what happened. They traded out of this pick. No, we did the same thing at the Flyers draft show last year, John. Flyers had the Florida Panthers pick after they won the Stanley Cup, and we're just waiting. Like, okay, got to get through this here. Got to do the whole first round because we're waiting, and the pick's gone. Okay, well, that's it. We're going to go eat some chicken.
Good night. Thanks, everybody. Good night. See ya. Oh, that sucks. Block C coming up next. Flyers recap by Bill Matz. All right, so that's the draft. And we'll talk more about the draft next week, but it really is unique in that this is I can't remember. Maybe it was after the last Super Bowl just because we didn't care about anything after that and everything was fine. But now being focused on winning another one and how deep this team is, there's really no need at 32. I mean, obviously you need defensive line help, but there's no obvious pick when you're a 32 because there's no obvious pick at 32. You're so far down. And anybody would believe Howie trading up for a player, and anybody would see Howie trading out of that first round draft pick because he's like, yeah, we'll get it. Like when they traded for Dallas Goedert, they traded out of their first round pick, and they got Dallas Goedert. He was the player they wanted. They got him where they wanted, and they ended up getting an extra draft pick. So I think, honestly, if I was to put a prediction on it right now, I think that's what happens. How he trades out of the first round, gets an early-ish second-round draft pick, and gets an extra, maybe like a third-round pick or gets an extra pick for this year.
Yeah, I think that's the most likely outcome. But like you said, would not be shocked if they have somebody targeted that they think they can get up and get. They do have a bunch of picks over the next few years, the comp picks coming and all that. Maybe this is the year they maybe surprise us a little and trade up rather than trading out. But if we were to put odds on it, the favorite would certainly be, no, they're not picking at 32 and they're going to pick up something extra and move back.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. It'll be a fun week next week. We're really getting the draft mode next week. All right. So AJ Brown is, I love AJ Brown. He's an interesting guy, right? Like, he's reading the book on the bench, and I think for a while a lot of people thought he was just another diva wide receiver. And I'm not telling you he doesn't want the ball thrown to him, and maybe he doesn't have some tendencies when he's unhappy with the offense or whatever. But he's been awesome. AJ Brown has been unbelievable. He's a really interesting guy, and I guess he's hanging in Philly during this offseason because I seen him doing some stuff around town, or he was like taking in local fare or doing stuff like that. But he's a really, really interesting guy, and I've enjoyed him a lot more than I thought I was going to where like I'm a huge fan right now. You always appreciate the player on the field, and then you kind of, if they're great, you avoid some of the stuff off the field. There's nothing like, he is awesome. He is like totally an awesome dude.
Yeah, he's like you said, he is a receiver. There's going to be the dumb stuff that happens every now and then. He wants the ball. Shocking. The big receiver wants the ball. But it doesn't seem like he's a toxic kind of guy. He's just very competitive. And like you said, super freaking interesting. He cracks me up 100%.
So he did this yesterday. Wait, and Tyler, what's the context of it other than he's just effing with everybody?
I don't think there is one. I think he's just bored and he's messing around.
So if you remember earlier in the offseason, there was this thing going on in New England where sports radio needs something to talk about and they're dumb. So it's like, oh, A.J. Brown, he doesn't want to play in that offense. Mike Vrabel, he wants to be a Patriot. Oh, yeah, A.J. Brown wants to be a Patriot. And the Eagles, who just signed him to this new contract, would take like a $250 million dead cap hit if they traded A.J. Brown. So, yeah, they're going to trade their best wide receiver coming off a Super Bowl because the Patriots need a wide receiver to pair with. And he's going to want to go to a bad franchise with a young quarterback and not a lot of talent. In his prime, he's going to want to go there. So this became this thing where talk radio and they even have reporters saying like, yeah, that's like realistic. So I think that's what this was about. So here's A.J. Brown yesterday on social media, effing with everybody. Here it is.
Well, it's finally official. The wait is over. The wait is over, man. Oh, man. The GOAT Jules, man. Yes, sir, man. That's what I'm talking about, man. I know Eagles fans just heart beating. Hi, boom, 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 boom. Man, I just be playing, man. I play too much, man. I like to have fun.
You know why I think I like him too? The one time I interviewed him, and he's funny. The one time I interviewed him, we talked more baseball than we talked football. Because I brought up, because he's a baseball player. He probably could have played in the majors, or like he had the talent to play in the majors. Whether he can hit off speed stuff, I don't know. I think that's what we talked about. But
do you think he could track one down in center field?
Holy crap!
I don't think he'd be a downgrade.
All right, Brandon Marsh or A.J. Brown right now, who are you taking in center field?
215. Put it out on the poll, Johnny Mark.
He's awesome. But like, so that's like, he's like that kind of guy. I love baseball. I've always loved baseball. And he is like him and Deshaun. By the way, you want to get Deshaun Jackson to open up and to get comfortable with you. Start talking about his dad's love for the Pittsburgh Pirates and talk about him as a baseball player. Deshaun is a baseball player. Deshaun is a baseball kid, man. He was a great baseball player. Another guy. Imagine Deshaun in center field.
You could have an extra infielder. It's like, yeah, you got left end center tonight, Deshaun. All right.
Oh man, A.J. Brown's awesome. So a couple more things here, Bill. Are you are you a big college football fan? Or you like college football? You kind of an average college football fan. Where do you stand on all of it?
Yeah, I'll watch the playoff. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I just never have been able to get into college football. Went to all the games my freshman year at Temple. Didn't make me a huge college football fan.
Who was the coach?
Surprisingly. I think it was it Golden at the time? I can't even remember.
What year? Like yeah, because Golden was like 05 maybe, 06.
I was 07 was my
07. All right, maybe
right?
maybe it's
yeah.
I'm misremembering, as Roger Clemens once said. But anyway, yeah, like all right, so you're not a big college football guy, but like you have a quarter way pay attention, you watch the playoff.
Yeah.
I love college football. I can watch any college football game. I watch bad college football. Where I draw the line is if the Penn Quakers are playing another Ivy League team on Comcast Sportsnet. I'm not interested in that. But pretty much I'll watch anything else.
Yeah, that's not real. That's a high school game. But I do love, there is nothing better than a Pac-12 on at the bar late at night. I mean, that's what it's made for right there.
And you know what? That's when I really became, when I was working overnights on the national network and I'd be up at midnight to do a 2 a.m. show, I'm watching Pac-12 bad football Oregon State against some other or a WAC, the Western Athletic Conference game of the week, which is awesome. So Lee Corso is retiring. He's going to come out and work the first game, one more game. He's going to do the pregame show, and he's going to make his pick, and then that's going to be it. He's 89 years old. This is long overdue. Like especially last year, it's like he doesn't even know what's going on anymore. You got to stop bringing him out there. So they're doing the right thing. But like I've enjoyed Lee Corso for a long time. Did you know, Tyler Zula, I ask you, do you know when he first started on College Game Day, what year it was?
Oh, gosh. It's got to have been almost 40 years at this point. I would say sometime in the 80s.
You're good. Or you know the answer.
I don't. I mean, I guess sometime in the 80s.
1987, the inception of College Game Day.
Wow.
He has been with them since the beginning. He's been making the mascot headgear prediction at the end of each show since 1996. So he's been doing that for 30 years. And he is, he's retiring. Hey, Bill, I don't like pregame shows. I love the PHLY Flyers pregame show. One of the
you're the one.
Love all of our shows here. I love the pregames. But as far as NFL pregames, I have this much interest in watching an NFL pregame show. I don't watch them. I'll watch TV right up until 1 o'clock if I'm have to do stuff. But if I'm in front of the TV and there's no excuse, I ain't watching Countdown or whatever. I watch Sopranos on demand, and then at 12:55 I'll switch over to the Eagles. That's just how I roll. All right, but like. College Game Day, I really, really enjoy. I like the chemistry of the guys. I love Herb Street. Desmond Howard's has been very good. So that's the one pregame show that I actually like is College Game Day. But since you don't really watch college football, I doubt on a Saturday morning you're sitting there with hot chocolate drinking. You're probably sleeping because you're up till 5 o'clock in the morning.
There's a good chance, but College Game Day is the standard of those shows. It's one of the few watchable ones. Everyone knows College Game Day.
Correct. One other thing here on real fast on college football, and this took me by surprise, and that's why I bring it up. So, have you seen what's going on with the transfer portal in college football? And the Tennessee quarterback was like, "Hey, I need $4 million," and Tennessee's like, "Well, you're gone because we're paying you $2 million a year, and we're not giving you any more money, so you're going to have to go somewhere else." So they just were like, "See ya," and they beat it. So I read this yesterday. So Bill Belichick's down in North Carolina, and they were actually in on the Tennessee quarterback. But so South Alabama's quarterback, Gio Lopez, he was considered the 6th best available transfer in ESPN's spring portal rankings. So listen to how this is written. Per sources, Lopez will join North Carolina on a 2-year, $4 million contract. With 3 seasons of remaining eligibility. This is now being reported like an NFL contract. This is officially, I'm not even going to say a minor league, but this is a feeder system for the NFL. You have to go through college football. This is going to start being reported on like it's an NFL contract. It literally said on ESPN.com, they've agreed to a 2-year, $4 million contract. These are now binding contracts that are being signed with players in college football.
I like that it's out in the open now.
I do too.
I love that it's normal because that's what it is. Like it is a minor league. It is the NFL's feeder system. There's nothing else that exists. It's not as if you can go and play in Europe like it's basketball. There's nothing. And it's finally on the up and up and exposed for what it is. And I think that's best for everybody.
I agree. So Belichick, now they have general managers in college football, right? So Mike Lombardi, the clown Mike Lombardi, who's been a simp for Bill Belichick for freaking years. He's his GM down there. He's making over $1 million a year. He's his GM in North Carolina. So the colleges now have budgets, and now they have to make decisions based on how much money they have to work with. And you're going to have, that's why you sign contracts, because now this guy is like, hey, you actually have a contract. So you're going to have to stay. Like the thing with the Tennessee quarterback, they're just like, beat it. We don't want you here. But you're going to be, and you see what he did. He has 3 years of eligibility left to where he signs a 2-year contract. He's going to be able to leave. If he's not going into the draft, he's going to be able to leave for his senior season and be a free agent. If this dude's good, and he's going to be a free agent, and he's going to make millions of dollars in that walk year. Oh, it's great, man. I love it. I love it. It's great.
If this, like, if I was a high level college athlete, I would be petitioning the NCAA for endless eligibility. Just be in college forever. I'm gonna be a doctor. That's what I'm doing, and just stay in college. Who wouldn't want to?
And Bill getting ready to be a mega doctor, his 7th degree.
Well, now you're getting former college players suing the NCAA because they're saying like, "Hey, what do you mean? Now they're able to be paid?" Who was there was a notable college player that came out, and I think it is suing the NCAA because of now you're able to get paid.
You know who probably should have done it already is Reggie Bush.
I was just thinking
for a couple reasons.
So Reggie Bush is just sitting there like, can I have my trophy back? Like, what if you just gave me my trophy? You know, someone gave him an SUV, so he's not a Heisman winner.
No.
Now they're just reporting contracts on ESPN.
And it was like, listen, they gave his parents a house or whatever and to live in, and there was money that was exchanged. Guess what? At every freaking big program that's winning, guess what was happening? You think Reggie Bush was the only USC player that was up to some shenanigans? I mean, Jesus Christ. Pete Carroll, USC, Los Angeles national championship. Do you know the hanky panky that must have been going on in that program back then? I mean, Jesus Christ.
I watched Pat Chambers bring in recruits, quote unquote, at Penn State basketball. There's no way that was happening without being below board and handing out some money. Now it's just allowed to happen. That's the only difference. Like Pat Chambers and everybody, right? And it wasn't just him. Like I just used him as an example because all of a sudden he was recruiting really good players to a really bad basketball program. And, this is just something that's above board now. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, now it's actually, they can do it. So the same people, like the car dealer that used to give this bogus, the car dealership, it's like, hey, yeah, work for me in the summer. I pay really well. Right? And he get the manila envelope that he gets. All right, coming up, the moment that everybody's been waiting for. Johnny Pucks joins Bill Matz right here on this program to break down the Flyer season. Also, our BetParx Parlay of the day. Bill, we're plus 177 on the season. We've won with it like 3 or 4, I think. Hit again yesterday, plus 177. We'll give our BetParx Parlay of the day, and the Flyers season is finally over. You can see the relief on Bill's face. A huge monkey has been lifted off his back.
Summer vacation is here.
All right, we have that coming up next. Philly, John Marks. Man, what the hell are you doing? Don't go anywhere. Please don't go anywhere. All right. Let's discuss BetParx. And Parx Casino, listen, if it's a Friday night, you may be finding me up at BetParx in the sportsbook, enjoying stuff. Maybe it's having dinner at one of their fine restaurants. Maybe it's just overall having fun. Ton of table games, amazing poker room. If you like action, you like gaming, BetParx, the #1 casino in Pennsylvania. Also, the BetParx Sportsbook, an online casino app, has you covered. How about Philadelphia baseball? Your favorite baseball teams. You have pro basketball playoffs going on right now. Hockey playoffs going on right now. There's always another way to win on the BetParx Sportsbook, an online casino app. It's the only app I would ever use to play all your favorite casino games and to bet on sports. Live dealers with blackjack, roulette, craps, poker, and hot online slots like Cash Eruption, 88 Fortunes, Cleopatra, and more. And new users get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. Go to betparx.com, download the app right now. Enjoy all the action and excitement from your fingertips. You must be 21 and then PA, New Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan for BetParx. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. You love to play. You love to win. You bet. BetParx. All right, TrueMark Financial. Actually I'm not going to make it over there today on Good Friday. I got too much stuff going on after the show. But I need to make it over to TrueMark because the other day I was talking about the machine, the coin machine that they have, the coin arcade or whatever they call it. They don't really have them at the other places anymore. TrueMark has it. And I have like a decent amount. Pour it in, get the money, deposit it right in my bank. They give you a little slip. But if you're looking for business checking, business savings, you're just saying, you know what, like I don't really like what's going on with where I bank right now. TrueMark Financial is the place you want to go. The Trooper location is where I go. One of the ones I go. I try to make that my home branch because Mary Ellen has been a listener to me, a viewer of me on sports radio and now PHLY for many years. Donna, her right-hand woman, they've worked together for 16 years. When you walk into a TrueMark branch, and I've been to many of them, you're greeted with smiles and warmth, and you're not going up to a teller. You're sitting down at a desk, and you're discussing, what can I do for you today? Service. It's like you're dealing with family, right? TrueMark.com/PHLY. TrueMark.com/PHLY for more information and to become a customer like me. There we go. All right, Flyers, Block C. We got to get to our BetParx Parlay of the day. Bill, I think did we ask you for advice last time? And because we were on a stretch where we were like, I don't even know if we're going to be able to do this every day. We'll look like idiots if we're like minus $700. It's like, hey, yeah, let's get people to tune in for our picks. We're minus 700 on the season, but we're plus 177. So things have been going well with us, Bill Matz.
That's great. You know, John, what I do is just now I started telling everyone, just fade me, just do the opposite on the Flyers pregame. And for the last couple of games,
that's right.
I said, you know what? We're going to do jinx bets. And I bet the Flyers to win the last two, and it all worked out.
Good for you. Good for you. Yeah. All right, Tyler, you've been hot. I've been hot. What do you got? I actually, the last, it's our BetParx Parlay of the day. When I thought there was an NBA game happening that night, the Nuggets were 1-point favorites over the Clippers, I think. Now that line's all the way up to 2.5, which almost scares me off of it a little bit. But anyway, what do you got today? What's your
so yesterday I took the A's and the White Sox. I pushed it was 8, or originally the over-under was 8. I pushed it down to 7.5. Thank goodness I did, because the A's scored 8 and the White Sox had 4 hits and scored 0. So thank you to the Sacramento A's for helping me out. Today I'm going to go back to the no-run first inning play that I love to play. The Toronto Blue Jays and Seattle Mariners are starting a series this weekend. Both of those two teams are tied for 23rd in terms of runs per first inning at .37. They struggle in the first inning a little bit more than most teams do. It's a pretty good pitching matchup today. Brian Wu versus Bowden Francis. I am going to take the under, or the no-run first inning, the under .5 in the first inning of that game, and that one is at minus 121.
What game again?
The Blue Jays and the Mariners.
God, you are such a baseball bot.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Inning 1, and you're taking the under?
Taking the under. No run first inning.
No run first inning, minus 121? Bang.
Correct.
All right. I'm going to stick with it. I'm not going to get scared away because there might have been some line movement. The Nuggets, I believe, are going to lose to the Clippers. The Clippers have actually been a really good team. Bill, James Harden, I hated him here, and I would still hate him if he was here. He's been really good with the Clippers. He's scored in the 30s. Clippers are a pretty good team. James Harden's been very good in Los Angeles.
Of course he has. Of course he has. Why wouldn't he have been?
I am going to take. Where's this game? Right here. All right. I'll actually take the 2.5 points. So I'm going to take the Clippers plus 2.5. Nuggets are 2.5-point favorites. They fired their GM. They fired their head coach, which is very weird to do. They fired both people with 5 games left to go in the season. I just think the Clippers right now are playing better basketball. So I am going to take the Clippers plus 2.5. So $50 would win us 125, Tyler Zulli. So let's wager 50 to win 125.
Let's do it. We're up a little bit.
We're plus 177.
Nice little addition into the weekend.
Yeah. All right. There you go. So that's what you got. That's our BetParx Parlay of the day. All right, Bill Matz. Philadelphia Flyers lose last night, wrap up their season, a good loss. Because Tyler was saying this before the show. They were in the position where if things broke a couple different ways, they could have cost themselves that 4th worst record, correct?
They absolutely could have. If they had won in regulation last night, they'd be at the 7th spot in terms of lottery odds. If they had gone to overtime, win or lose, they would have been at 6. And the regulation loss was the only way to ensure themselves the 4 spot. And they did it, John. They did it. They really. I was watching this game. We're all watching it together. Charlie, Kelly, and I in the right there in the studio. And I don't know if I've been that into the result of a Flyers game since Game 7, 2020 against the Islanders. I really believe we were freaking out, like Kelly and I just going nuts. Alexei Kolosov making saves on breakaways for the first time. They finally go down 2 on an empty netter. We're like, okay, they did it. Bobby Brink scores with like 40 seconds left. It's a 1-goal game. We're like, what the hell are they doing? They're going to blow this. But luckily, the trusty old Buffalo Sabres were able to hang on for the biggest win in 5 years for the Flyers, a regulation loss in the finale against Buffalo.
Well, that's good news. So the question is, because I obviously didn't watch the end of the game. Were they trying to win the game? Because the Sixers, and I'm very happy about it. Don't get me wrong. The best thing the Sixers have done in 5 years is be one of the worst team in basketball to make sure that they had the best chance of getting this top 6 pick, which who knows if they're going to get it still. But like they were like, yeah, Maxey hurt his finger. Oh, he's out for the season. He couldn't possibly play with a sprained finger. They shut everybody down. They did a process style of we're tanking. Hockey teams don't play. Organizations, they aren't that obvious at doing it. So my question is, were they trying to lose this game in regulation in the third period last night?
No. The Flyers, the players on the ice were very much trying to win, much to the consternation of all of Flyers Twitter, which was freaking out. They give up a goal seemingly to fall down to. Bradshaw challenges for goalie interference, and I was like, that's it. He's off my list. Don't want him to get this job now. Best of luck in your future endeavors. But it was funny pregame when the lineups get announced. It is initially said, oh, it's going to be Ivan Fedotov, Flyers backup. He's going to be starting this game. And listen, Fedotov, not good. But then about 20 minutes, a half hour later, there's a lineup correction. Ladies and gentlemen, actually, it's going to be Alexei Kolosov in net, who is statistically the worst goaltender in hockey. He is like 8 points down in save percentage on the next worst guy. He's freaking terrible. And we're like, okay, I think this sounds a lot like Danny Briere going, Brad, I need to talk to you for a second. You had the right idea starting to back up. We're going with the third string guy, though. That's what we're going to be doing. But once the game started, Buffalo was in control right away. And then in the third, it was all Flyers, and it really looked like they were going to blow it. But luckily, Buffalo was able to hang on.
Yeah, to your point, the players are always going to try to win the game. They don't care about lottery positions or whatever. They probably don't even know anything about that. That's where it needs to come from upstairs. And the coach and the GM need to be on the same page. Remember Doug Peterson? It was obvious the Eagles needed to lose the game. And Jalen Hurts is playing deep into that game. And were they winning? And he
I believe they were winning. Yeah.
They awkwardly pulled Hurts for obvious reasons, but they did it too late. And then Doug, of course, couldn't explain it after the game. And it looked so freaking bad. I remember, like, Sal Powell wanted a congressional investigation over it because it was obvious. They would have won the game, but Doug was like, huh? They're like, would you get him the hell out of the game? So Doug screwed it up. But, yeah, it needs to come from management saying, like, hey, listen. Because the reality is nobody's going to care about winning a game at the end of a season if it's going to cost you a chance of getting a top pick or now we're talking about numbers. You need the most chances possible to get the highest pick possible. With that being said, what are the chances they get? How does it work? It's weighted as far as losses and things like that. So the more losses you have, the worse record you have, the better chance you have for the higher picks. I mean, I guess I'm being obvious about this, right?
Yeah. It's lottery rules. They have the 4th worst record, so they have the 4th best odds to move up to number 1 or number 2. That's what's at stake. There's 2 different drawings, and at 4, the Flyers have a 9.5% chance of 1 or 2. But since you can win 1 or 2, that means you can also fall back a spot or 2. Their actually best odds are falling to 5. That's just the way it works in the NHL. Everyone's best odds are falling 1 spot. But it seems like it's maybe a 6-guy draft in terms of like the top drop off. This 4th spot is ensure themselves one of the guys who appears to be like a legitimate difference maker in the next couple of years.
Well, I mean, that's why you're so good. I didn't even have to ask the question because you just answered it. Yeah, like they're pretty much guaranteed to get one of the top guys in the draft. I mean, listen, I have my own opinions on the top. Like I'll have my mock draft for the NHL coming up here before the draft. But so I mean, that's good news.
Bucks.
Excellent news. Actually, the first time I really ever I think even met you, Bill, was 2017.
2017
at Smith's Bar and Restaurant in Center City. I was working nights at WIP. My second daughter, was due to be born any day. And my wife was having the fake contractions, the Braxton Hicks contractions. So she's like, I think I'm in labor. And I'm like, listen, either you're in labor or you're not. Like, there's no I think I am. Like, do I need to freaking leave right now and drive home? Right? And she, well, I don't know. So she wasn't in labor. But I walked away from this draft party and I'm like, Jesus, like these guys are unbelievable. There were people hanging from the rafters. Your crowd, man, your viewers and listeners are unbelievable. I had such a great time.
Oh, that was our first draft party, 2017, and it really felt like something special because they won the lottery that year. They moved from 13 to 2, which you can't even do now. You're only allowed to move up 10 spots. But they went from 13 to 2, and they end up with Nolan Patrick. We think, okay, that's it. Yeah. This is gonna give Claude Giroux the second act that he needs that this team can finally compete. And the first 5 guys in that draft, 4 of them are all-stars, and one of them's out of the league. Guess who we got? But that was an incredible party.
Yeah, that's there, I'll tell you a draft simulator. There you go, Tyler. Oh, I love I don't even need to know anything about any of the players. And if you have a high draft pick, I'm like, this is awesome. So whenever you guys have I am there this year when you have the draft lottery party. I am there. It was such a great time. You guys do such a Jonesy. Hey. Joe Wechter brought over Jonesy that day. I remember Jonesy showed up and we did a live interview. Yes. Somebody else was there too. That I interviewed with. Was awesome. Well, and you guys as well. So that was a lot of fun. All right, so
only took us 2 spins there, by the way, to get the number 1 overall pick.
And that's what's awesome.
Can't beat that.
Oh my God! Is there
they fell the first time? They fell from 4 to 5, but the second time, number 1 overall pick.
Is there a generational goaltender or a player like that if you get number 1?
No generational goaltender that I know of. It looks like the first overall pick. It's going to be this defenseman, Matthew Schaefer. He's really climbed up the board quite a bit over the last few weeks and months. I think the Flyers, even though they do have the huge hole at center, would end up going Schaefer because they could use a number 1 defenseman as well. The top center in the draft, though, is this kid, Michael Misa, an absolute freaking stud, Canadian left-handed shot, just has decent size, can score at will. If they end up with either one of those guys, but there is a center from Boston College, James Higgins. He was supposed to go 1 or 2 coming into this year, hasn't had the best draft season, has fallen a little. If the Flyers are at 4 or 5 and he's there, that will be one hell of a pick for them as well.
All right, if you're watching on TV, slide on over to allphly.com because we're officially in overtime. Wow. All right, there we go. All right, so and we can go a couple minutes here. So draft check. So who's their next head coach before we kind of review the season and do that? Who's their next head coach?
I really think it's going to be Rick Tocchet, which isn't really a move that excites me a ton. He's thought of as a great coach around the league. The Flyers wouldn't be the only team in pursuit of Rick Tocchet. It's not like that. But I also think the new national champion from the NCAA, Western Michigan's coach, Pat Ferschweiler, has a great chance at this job. He coaches one of the Flyers' top prospects in Alex Bump. And Western Michigan, it's Jonesy's alma mater. And Pat Ferschweiler actually played alongside Jonesy. They were line mates for a year or 2 there. So they have the connection. And Western Michigan, not a blue blood college hockey program. What he's done there and kind of took them from a middling team to now national champion. is really impressive. So it's not just a the good old boys network coming through again. That could end up being a really interesting hire, but odds-on favorite at this point is Rick Tocchet, even though technically still Vancouver's coach has not been let go yet.
Typically, I know Hackstall was not a successful hire. Do college coaches do they transition well to the NHL? Is there a name that comes to mind? It's like, yeah, like that's worked out really well.
There hasn't been a huge track record of success. That said, Jim Montgomery, I think, is a freaking awesome coach. The Bruins let him go this year, even though he's got like a 700 winning percentage for them in the regular season.
Right.
They just got off to a bad start, but as we saw what happened, he gets scooped up the next day by the St. Louis Blues, who've been on an awesome run and ended up in the playoffs. And Boston is picking one ahead of the Flyers at 5. They are absolutely terrible. They had a 10-game losing streak along the way where they lost one game. They had 1 point over those 10 games. It was they fell off a cliff, whereas Jim Montgomery, he's been pretty good everywhere he's been. I think he's kind of the standard bearer, but there hasn't been a huge track record of college coaches making the jump.
Tocchet would be such a Flyers hire before the Jonesy
Yes.
administration. It'd be such a Flyers hire. And I feel like that, like, and you got to appreciate your past. And I like Rick Tocchet. I think he's great. I think he's got a great personality. Maybe be good for the media based on what he would say. Like, do we need to keep going back to he's not a Broad Street bully, but he played in the 80s for the Flyers with a hockey haircut with the mullet. I just don't know if we need him back.
No, it's just not. It's not a hire that would excite me for that reason. Also, everyone thinks of him as a really good coach. He's been to the playoffs twice in like 9 years. Now, like, he coached Arizona. That team doesn't even exist anymore. They had to play in a 5,000-seat college arena until they disappeared. So I guess you can't really hold that against him. But the way Vancouver fell apart this year, they had locker room issues. I don't know. It's not a huge inspiring pick, but the day John Tortorella was fired, like every national hockey show I listened all day just opens with, so when's the Rick Tocchet press conference? Like, it's just what everyone assumes because it's such a Flyers move.
Yeah. His reputation's better than the actual coach that he's been because he's Rick Tocchet and everybody recognizes the name. Well, I guess it makes sense. All right, so like, how do you look at this season? And we talked about this the last time you were on, but now that it's all said and done, how do you, like, you're writing a quick blurb or a summary for this season. How do you describe it?
Goaltending was absolutely horrendous. John Tortorella, it may have been a mistake to bring him back for this season after the way things fell apart last year. It doesn't seem as if that locker room was in a great place. That said, the team was working up until the very end of this season. I didn't see a team that quit. And luckily, we end up with the fourth best lottery odds. And Matvei Michkov really looks like he's going to be the dude. A couple of goals and an assist last night. Finishes the year with 26 goals, 63 points. That is an awesome rookie year. Leads all rookies in goal scoring. Leads the Flyers in goal scoring. For that alone, Matvei Michkov, successful season all around.
Right. So the one player makes it a success because you know what you have right there. So you look at this as like, all right, like, we're getting there. Organization made some good moves. We know that we still have some work to do, but getting there. Should I be looking at this team as is next year have to be a playoff season for them?
I think they're going to be a lot closer to the playoffs. Maybe they get in, maybe they don't sort of situation than they will be, the bottom 5 of draft lottery odds. I think they're going to make some additions, try to figure out a way to steady this goaltending. They had by far the worst goaltending in the league this year. Maybe if they don't get a center in the draft, they bring in a veteran who can then kind of fill that hole for a couple of years. But I think 2026, that offseason, is going to be when they go all in. They're going to have a ton of cap space. A lot of guys come off the books, and the cap allegedly going up like 15 million by then. So I think it's take a step next year, and then the following year is when they're going to start to really try to contend.
Hold on. I got to wait another year for a playoff team, for a playoff run, Bill? What?
They could. There is a chance they could get into the play. I mean, the Eastern Conference is so bad. Some of these teams that are getting in the playoffs the last couple of years, they could very well be one of those bubble teams. But I think when they're like going to be an actually good team, that's 2 years away.
Yeah. All right. So they're not gonna spend money to try to like, we need to make the playoffs this year. Let's mortgage what we have. Like and I hate to say an Ed Snyder move, but an Ed Snyder move to where it's like, hey, because he needed to be in the playoffs and it worked. They just couldn't get over the top. So next year there won't be urgency in the offseason going into the season to make sure they get in the playoffs. They are still very much, they have a plan, they're sticking to it, and it'll be worth it once they get there.
Yeah, I think they always kind of targeted 2026 as that year, with knowing that the cap would finally be going up, that the all the COVID restrictions finally over, everything that was holding the league back, and apparently all the owners were eating cat food, that the cap couldn't go up. And now it finally will, and they'll just have so many like expiring contracts and guys that they paid to go away finally coming off the books, that is kind of where they're targeting.
All right. There you go. For more of this unbelievable coverage, Bill Match, Charlie O'Connor, everybody else. You have like a cast of thousands that are with you right there.
We have a rotating cast of our old Broad Street hockey friends with Kelly Hinkle and Steve Jaco as well.
Steve Jaco. All right. Well, check it. How many shows do you do in like the off season? What's the schedule in the off season?
The off season is going to be tremendous. Starting Monday, April 28th, Monday to Friday, we're on at 12 noon, baby. Oh, I cannot wait.
Nice.
I cannot wait.
You'll be going to bed a couple hours before that, so yeah, you'll get
just
not a lot of sleep.
Come into work, do the show, go to bed, and then start your day over.
All right, last thing, WrestleMania picks. Because WrestleMania is this weekend. You broke the news to me at 8:02 this morning. I didn't know that. So who's the headliner? What's the big match this year?
The big main event this year is Cody Rhodes defending the title he won at WrestleMania in Philly a year ago against John Cena, the 16-time champ, looking to break Ric Flair's all-time championship record, get that number 17. It is going to be a ton of fun, and I got to go with John Cena. You know, records. Why wouldn't you break a record if you have a chance to do it? I think that's it. I think it's going to be John Cena and bad guy Cena for his final run in WWE.
His first time turning heel. John Cena, always the fan favorite baby face. And now he's turned heel, and he beat up Cody Rhodes with brass knuckles and things like that. So you're predicting a John Cena heel win, and he breaks the record.
Yeah, got it. I love a bad guy getting the win in the main event of WrestleMania. Always great, and it's freaking John Cena. What's he gonna lose? It's John Cena. Come on.
Yeah. Does he still wear jean shorts when he comes?
He does. He still rocks the jorts. Of course.
He's got to be close to 50, isn't he? John Cena.
It's very funny just seeing when you see early pictures of him, and now, like, okay, he turns around. He's got the big spot in the back of his head. Could probably use a visit to Dr. GLAT. And I remember when you were like 24, man. It's kind of disheartening, but yeah, it's he's still that same guy.
He'll be 40. He's my age. He'll be 48 in a couple days next week. There you go. All right. As always, Bill Matz, very entertaining stuff. Thank you. Check out Bill and PHLY Flyers, Broad Street Hockey, all the above, as they continue the all-season coverage. Have a happy Easter, man. Give Ava my love as always.
Absolutely. Have a happy Easter, John.
All right, buddy. Happy Easter, Tyler. And everybody out there, if you celebrate Easter, have a happy and safe one. Enjoy your weekend. We're back at 8 a.m. on a Monday. Anthony is live right now. Switch on over to him. See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.